Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, woo.
We're coming. Get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
Well, I think it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips. Yeah. What's happening, blacks? How y'all doing out there? Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha, Wright, aka Key Lolo. That's right, my good people. And y'all know who that is over here, right? Let me get my finger right. Hold on, Cheryl. Hey, boo. How you doing? It's the one and only Cheryl Morrow, aka the Hair Oracle, in the chat. They ready.
They ready.
The chat is always ready for we're like Public Enemy. Here come the fusion. They're always ready for the fusion. That's right, guys. This is going down this evening. We are about 100. I believe we're 150. Or is it 149? Well, we're getting up there. Hold on. Hold your underwears. It's coming out. Get it out. I'm going to get it. Oh, it is. We are 150. Can you believe that, Sandra? We gay. What's up? I see you, LB. You didn't ate my bologna sandwich. I'm gonna go ahead on and yeah, LB done ate my bologna sandwich, but that's okay. Let me give us a big round of applause. Here we go, Cheryl.
150. Bam.
One more time. Come on, y'all. Stand up and clap for us. Y'all got to be like Eddie Murphy. Them girls is good. Them girls is good. Them girls is good. Look at them girls. Them girls can sing. Them girls can talk. So yes. Sex. Look at this sexy chocolate. Come on, show. Put your sexy chocolate on. They like, that's some sex. That's some. Y'all know we sexual chocolates. Come on now. Put the SS in the chat. SCs for the sexual chocolates. That's a good nickname for us, Cheryl. Look at Sandra, please don't encourage Ladosha. Don't whatever you do, don't do that. So yes, we are very excited to be 150 episodes in. The topic tonight is all about clogged follicles. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the entire month is about the scalp, and so you are here. We again 150 episodes in. We're talking about the dumbest shit that people say about black hair, and I'm telling you right now. Now y'all said, Kilo, you said this every single time, and I do. I say it every single time. But when I say this is some dumb, this right here, this is dumb. This clogged follicle phenomenon, it is sweeping the social media, I don't know, you call it airways or information highway or whatever they call this thing here. So it was hair typing was up there. Remember hair typing? Mm-hmm. So hair typing 4A, 4C. So all that's been it's getting kicked to the curb. Like people are like, yeah, I don't know about this 4C hair. I don't think that stuff works. I mean, look at my hair. It's not type 4. It's not this, whatever. But now scalp care follicles are now like the topic of all topics. So if follicle care is your thing, and this is something that you're really interested in knowing more about, then tonight we are going to be going into great details about the follicle. And then next week, we're going to end up this series and we're going to talk about who you can trust. Isn't that right, Cheryl?
Oh, boy.
Because, all these specialists out here and consumers need to know, well, everything that you guys are saying are going against all of the stuff that we're being taught. So now who can we go to? And if we need help, with our scalp issues. So we're going to definitely give you guys some solutions on next Monday. And then this Thursday, we're going to have Miss Amani Hassan. And so she is a biologist and she's a teacher and all this wonderful stuff as we conclude our women's a celebration of women during the month of March. So that should be pretty darn good. Okay. Cheryl, what you got happening over in sunny San Diego, California? I see it back there. Look at her. You see that, Sandra? She ain't right. She is just not right. She went like, ew. It's cold here. I went to Baltimore over the weekend, guys. I partied like a rock star.
Did you?
If y'all want to see me party, go over to my Facebook page at Ladosha Wright. I'm going to post all these reels. I mean, I keep trying to tell people, but nobody wants to listen to me. I'm telling y'all, if you want to party, remember Jeffrey Osborne had that song, when we party harder. When we're boogie, we're boogie woogie. You gotta be really old to know about that, but I'm here to tell you, we had a blast. So Baltimore is where you go to get your house music on, your hip hop on. If you're a house head, Cheryl, you a house head, aren't you?
I'm a house.
That Be More house. They threw a little go-go. So if you like go-go music,
One of my favorite groups.
Okay.
I think Basement Boys. The Basement Boys are from Baltimore.
Oh, I'm not familiar with them. Anybody in the chat from Be More in the house? So Be More is where you can be more. I like to go shopping there. They have a flea market there called Patapsco. I love going there. And it's just a great place to party. Wonderful people. Every time I go to Baltimore, I have a wonderful time. And I needed to go because my brother Maurice is still not feeling well. But I want to let you guys know your prayers are definitely working. So he's becoming very, very ill. And so we're all being there for him. As a matter of fact, when I get off the podcast tonight, I'm going to go over to his house, probably eat up all his cereal, typical sister. I'm just going to be in his refrigerator like, dang, Mo, you should have left this for me. Get out of my refrigerator. So I appreciate all of you guys' prayers for my brother. And he is not able to, tap into the chat, but he does watch it. So I see you, big brother Mo. Got the best brother. I know everybody says, don't you say out. No,
yeah, you do. You got some great brothers.
My brothers are like thebomb.com.
My brother was too.
Yeah, like I don't have to pump my own gas, or my brothers, they do like I don't have to wash my car. Like I have really good brothers, okay? They're really good. And they don't give me money though. If you have a good brother, drop a BB for a GB for a good brother. If you have a good brother in the chat. So my brother Maurice, he is absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to put that up there because our family, we appreciate every single prayer from my brother. So, and he loves the podcast, as y'all know. He likes it. He said, I'm going to say something so I can irritate Cheryl a little bit. I just like to get Cheryl all revved up. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much. Shan is actually with Maurice. So we're rotating our care for him because he's requiring more care now. So, but we're trying to outdo each other. Like, who gonna be the best sibling? So me and my sister like,
that's right.
I'm fixing him.
That's right.
I'm gonna clip his toenail. Like, we doing everything for this brother. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's such a good brother. That's what we do, right?
That's absolutely right.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to.
Look at WeK. I like that. She says, I don't have a brother, but I have two amazing sisters. Yeah. Sisters are good too. I have a little sister. I give her holy hair. I let her know all the time. You're the little sister. I'm that big sister. Yes, Mika, I'm her. When I introduce her, I let everybody know This is my
Yeah,
little
we're right.
sister.
I'm a big sister. We don't Kamala Harris big sisters.
So get your big sister on, okay? So hey Nicole, how you doing? It's so nice to see you in the chat. So they ready. Yeah, they ready. Y'all ready for this topic? Okay. So we're gonna go ham. Let me see what we got over on Instagram. What's up? Let me give a super duper shout out to everybody because we're firing on all cylinders. Lighting up the world over on Instagram. Give me that handle. How do y'all come up with these names, Cheryl? Why we don't have no handles like that?
What's up? What you got? What you got?
My handle just Ladosha Wright. Boring. That's it's lighting up the world. Look at Mika 1, Sandra E, like Sheila E. You see what I'm saying? It's just, anywho, it's okay. We all can't be fabulous. Ain't that right, Mika 1? Week A, Lawana LB. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get ready to hop into the topic. This is something that you all have been waiting for. And again, 150 episodes in, and tonight it is all about the follicle, but we always start off with a little bit of, hair ingredients. I was going to say something about, did you hear about the White House? They leaked the conversation about the war over like a WhatsApp type of a situation. Can y'all just say dumber than a box of rocks? Like, what is this country? All I can say is say it loud. Woo! I'm proud. I'm glad I ain't got nothing to do with that kind of stupidity. I know, Mika, they just off the Richter scale. But anywho, so we're going to get into an ingredient. Now, because we're talking about clogged follicles.
Oh, God.
Now, this is a little intense, but I have to do this because this comes up a lot. As a matter of fact, when I was getting my certification in trichology, right? That's what like hair care companies used to give them. I don't know if they do that. Well, yes, they do. As a matter of fact, Influence. If you are a licensed cosmetologist, Influence is also doing a class. If you're interested, I can send that. I'll send you the phone number, and you guys can sign up for it. Okay. But anywho, so this was the hottest thing smoking. Remember that Nioxin, that hair care product, Nioxin.
Mm-hmm.
So Nioxin was the hottest thing. I'm telling you right now. They had the little scope. Nioxin was like, that was our conversation. And I would say maybe back in obviously it was in the 90s or early 2000s, because so the mid 2000s, the Nioxin was running the world of trichology. Mm-hmm. And so this was a product. It was exclusively, I don't think you can buy Nioxin over the counter. I think you have to do this at a hair salon. So, and I think this is a product of Jerry Redding, Cheryl. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I believe, anywho, it's a salon only product. So Nioxin was all about DHT, which stands for dehydrolyzed testosterone. And so how this now, Cheryl, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but here's a little image that's showing you the progression of what this dehydrolyzed testosterone does. And they call it miniaturization of the follicles to the point where you don't have hair anymore. And so this is something that people are interested in, Cheryl, is that they always want to know, how can you get this hair to grow back? So this is a medication called finasteride, and just 1 milligram. And this is what they're using to kind of work with the dehydrolyzed testosterone. So can we share with them exactly what is dehydrolyzed testosterone, and what do you know about treatment for folks diagnosed with DHT in their follicles, or we were told it's in your bloodstream, but anywho.
You don't get the,
I mean, not bloodstream, the hormone. I'm sorry.
In my experience,
okay,
in terms of what we talk about in cosmetic trichology, is that we talk about it and try to talk about it as it is conducive to what you do every day as a barber and a stylist and a braider, natural hair, whatever. You don't get DHT. You have DHT.
Oh.
Everybody has it. Women have it. Men have it. It is obviously estrogen and testosterone. Testosterone converts to DHT. I think with the what we should, if my memory serves me, because of course I don't get to look this stuff up. I didn't know we were talking about DHT.
Mm-hmm.
But it is about rate.
It's about who?
It's about rate.
Rate, R-A-T-E.
Right. Hyper or hypo. And that sweet spot is what we call homeostasis.
Okay.
So when androgens get hypo, hyper, right? And then you have the misdistribution of dihydrotestosterone.
Oh.
But everyone has it. You don't get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But they kind of make it seem like it's something.
You get
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
of course, and by the time practitioners and professionals try to address it, they have the misconception. And so when you have a misconception and don't realize that androgens, overactive imbalances in your androgens, which could fire off, trigger testosterone from your normal testosterone levels. But it is not something you get.
Okay.
It's something that happens when your hormones, and there's many, of course, triggers. Overworking out, because of course everything is supposed to stay in balance.
Okay.
The women have testosterone, men have estrogen. And when those things become imbalanced, that's when you start having all of the overactive, underactive issues. And an over hyperactive will begin to start overtaking your normal levels of estrogen, because estrogen helps hair grow.
Right.
The stage in which those things happen is androgenic phase, right?
Right.
Androgenic, canogenic, telegenic. And so hormones are triggering each phase. And so once you have an overactive of these particular hormones, that's when you start getting the condition
with the hair. Okay.
DHT.
Right. All right. And so what this ingredient is, guys, now so certain companies use this but as an ingredient, but it is a medicine. Okay, we just want to let you guys know
it is prescribed.
It is prescribed. Okay, and so how this works is that it treats this BPH by blocking the body's production of a hormone that causes the prostate to enlarge. But then they also says it treats male pattern hair loss by blocking that hormone growth that stops hair from growing. So this is what this is.
And let me just say this. I don't know if the hair loss world or the male pattern baldness world has, because you want the androgen phase to last as long as, in the androgens in the body. The problem is that the topical is not like a transdermal patch.
So, did y'all hear that? Cheryl, Sandra, Cheryl, she breaks it down. Yeah. The topical is not a transdermal patch.
So I don't know how effective, in my career as a cosmetic trichologist, I have not seen it on the topical level. And I know what they're saying. It triggers the TRVP, the nervous network, sends the message into the receptor. But we don't know if that is effective enough at 1 milligram.
Right. It can't be too effective because they're still out here selling so many products that's supposed to make your hair grow. Because if it did, trust me, it would just be taking over the market and people would have their hair back. And so this is a wonderful segue into the topic. And you are absolutely right, Sandra. We love it when the hair oracle breaks it down. So this is a perfect segue into the topic of clogged follicles. So we have some videos that we're going to go ahead on and help get this conversation going. Selena, I see you. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look out for you before the chat is over because you've been coming through. You already got 50% off. So I got you, boo. I'm going to still look out for you because it's almost Easter. You need an Easter hairstyle. You know, hair salons, we love Easter, dude. You know, I'm just saying. Hey, when it's Easter time, Mother's Day,
profitable.
Father's Day, you know, the hair salon and the barbershop. Notice I said barber.
Baba. That's right.
Bob, stop. You know, you gotta get your hood on these podcasts. You know, you gotta get your hood on. You know what I'm saying? So the hair salons and barbershops, they get really full around this time of the year. So anywho, I'm gonna look out for you, Selena, because you're gonna need you a good Easter, dude. She be in church. She sends me church service every Sunday. Like I feel like praising him. All right, okay. So let's start off with this whole thing about follicles. They're clogged, they're dead, or they're alive, all this other good stuff. Now, if you have questions about follicles, maybe you have some follicle situations going on. What's up, German Code? I see you over there on Instagram rocking it out, and again, lighting up the world. So glad to have you guys with us. Drop your questions in the chat, okay? So let's start off with dead follicles and dormant follicles, or do we want to break down what the follicle? How about we do that first? Let's tell them. I'm going to use your image here. Now we have two of these, and sure, let me know which one would you like, because I'm gonna keep these on deck from now on. So this one I have is the actual anatomy of curly hair. Would you like this one?
Yes.
Or would you? Okay, all right. So we're gonna use now. You can only get this here on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. You can visit afrohairscience.com. And you can email us at afrohairscience@gmail if you want your own copy of the anatomy of curly hair. So Cheryl, take it away and explain to them what the French toast and bologna sandwich that LB ate up. What is a hair follicle?
Okay. Let me ask you guys first. Do you guys know that a fallopian tube has a follicle?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Could you say that again? What's the question again?
Do you guys realize that the fallopian tubes has two follicles?
What you talking about, Willis?
Now, come on. Look at the chat. The chat is just, you done got the chat lit up. We ain't 30 minutes in, and you done.
Okay.
What you talking about, Willis?
And the reason why I preface that first is because we talk about what we call a bulb. And a follicle is usually a fluid-filled kind of sac, right? That has what we call producing effects.
Y'all better write this stuff down because these other podcasts not going to break it down like this. Go ahead.
Okay. And so that little bulb, okay, activates what we call cell production. Though you do not have egg-producing follicle, as in hair follicles, but there is a bulb that is completely ready to be activated by
Holy Spirit activate. Nah, just kidding.
And that activation phase is, we just mentioned it in the explanation of androgens. It has an androgenic phase to it. Okay, so that bulb gets activated because it is a sac. Okay, now, because the sac, when you pull the hair out, it's never bloody.
Everybody like crickets. Like, that's true.
Okay. It's waxy. Okay, and that's that fluid, lubricant kind of waxy. Okay, feel you have, and it's grayish white, right?
You can push that little thing sometimes.
So a
That
follicle
bone.
is a producing, mean growth, conducive for hormonal secretion, which is neurotransmitters that say grow, stop growing, stop now, and it is messengers that tell it to stop, rest, or evacuate.
And that's an organ too, guys.
And it's considered an organ because it produces.
Did y'all hear that?
Produces.
We gotta kind of see now. You know how they say it ain't rocket science, but it is Afro hair science.
Absolutely.
I just had to
And
get that off.
Afro, what's the difference between Afro hair science and regular science in terms of just the traditional cosmetology information? Afro hair science makes it conducive for you to understand and always remember it because it makes sense. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to guess. You just know that anything that grows from a seed, which is a usually producing kind of sac, that is what we call a follicle. Now, how is that akin to what we were talking about in terms of hair growth and hair loss? It is that we have what we call glands, sebaceous gland. And glands are also, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me, please. That's what we're here for. I think gland also is an organ because it produces. Now, you guys can check me on that.
I'm gonna track.
It's been a long time.
Help me out,
I only get these subjects at the last minute.
Yeah, I told y'all they think we be making this stuff. Okay.
Well, right. You sent me the email, but
yes, it says yes. Glands are organs, so she is not making that up. She is correct. The answer is yes. Glands are organs, and so we just want to let you guys know how authentic the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel is. So we just because we give it to you straight up, rough. 100% raw, okay, unabashed, unfiltered. We're talking about the clogged follicles. So yes, the glands are.
And so, with that being said, when you have a growth producing root, wound, follicle, everything is going this way. It's going up.
Let me move that out the way right quick.
Going up. It's going up. Everything is growing up. Okay. Right. And so in terms of Afro curly hair, it's not only growing up, it's twisting simultaneously. And that is why in the anatomy of these particular posters, which you guys can have and hanging up in your homes or your practices, it's important to know that the very nature of curly hair is that it is always moving upward, but it is twisting
compared to this one.
Right.
So this one is not twisting, guys. Okay. All right.
And most people, what's wrong with that diagram is that they always have straight hair also shooting up, but we all know that eventually it does come up, but it turns.
This is true. Right.
And so it is not anatomically correct, but I guess they, just for the sake of showing you a cross section of the epidermis and the dermis and the subcutaneous level, they want to show you where and how everything is kind of arranged.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So now we have a clear understanding of what a follicle is. So don't get it twisted. Couldn't resist it. I'm sorry, Sandra. I could not say I couldn't resist it. All right. So here is again, this is the first video where they want to know about dead follicles, dormant follicles. Here we go.
There's a difference between dead follicles and follicles that are laying dormant. Dead follicles are follicles that have completely stopped functioning hair, and this could be caused by various reasons. But hairs that are laying dormant are temporarily not producing. This can be changed. How? Massage your scalp. All you have to do is take your fingers and massage in circular motions every day for just a few minutes. This is going to stimulate and circulate blood flow. If you're starting to see that your hair is receding back, you can massage your scalp. You can also buy my growth serum. The growth serum has capsicum, which is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is going to stimulate and circulate blood flow. This is going to wake those follicles up that are laying dormant. You can click the link below or a link in the bio.
The dumbest shit, and I do mean the dumbest shit that people say about black hair is massage to stimulate and make it grow. She just told y'all it's an organ that's producing in 3 phases. I calm down.
You know,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry,
let me
y'all.
just-
Forgive me,
and let me
y'all.
just say this.
Forgive me.
And let me just say this. Most times people like her could be professional and they could be just merely a clinician and practitioner or somebody who got a certification. Problem with their approach is that, one, they do not know that the circulation keeps the tissue which the hair follicle is embedded healthy, not a connection to a blood vessel. Okay?
I'm gonna put that
Let's
picture up
repeat.
while you're
Let's
talking, because
repeat.
something about that blood flow.
Okay.
Cayenne pepper.
Right. The reason why in the Afro hair science diagram that the bulb has a red and a blue. Do you guys know why blood vessels are red and blue?
Okay, a little trip. Come on, guys, wake up. We're here. We're here. We're here. Again, 150
let's
episodes
black
in.
folks
So
today.
why are blood vessels? What? Say it again.
Why are blood vessels red and blue?
So I think the vein is blue and the blood vessel is red.
That's a
Okay.
good way of
All
putting it.
right. Okay. Let me, y'all. Come on. Hold on. Let's see. Luana, come on. You ain't missed nothing.
Come on,
Selena.
y'all.
I said you live, work, clean. Everybody tripping on the cayenne pepper. I know. Let me pop that up there. Michelle Allen, you done snuck in on us. Oh, we got Michelle Allen. She's in our commercial. She's famous. That's her. She's famous on African Science YouTube channel. So come on, guys. Wike, Mika, give us your answer on why. Say it again, Cheryl.
Why the blue versus red?
So I'm gonna put mine in the chat. I said the blue is your vein. Blue is the, if I could spell, is the vein. Vein is VEIN, and red is your, what did I say that was again?
You said the vein.
No, blue is the vein, and red is the blood vessel. That's what I said. All right, it's the blood vessel. All right, okay, I hear you over here. We got some good answers. Oh, y'all come on through now. Don't be scared.
Okay.
All right, this the smart. This what the smart people are. This what y'all some hair nerd. If y'all on this channel tonight, y'all nerd. Y'all know y'all nerdy AF. Okay,
Y'all nerdy. Y'all.
Mia, could you please go ahead? I'm sorry, I said Mia. Mika, somebody, what my virtual host at Sandra and Wike, drop in the chat nerdy AF. If you are rocking this podcast with us, you are definitely a nerd. Okay, so live, work, clean. She jumped out there. There she go. Bam. She said oxygen. Okay. Then we have Selena says she was thinking along the same line of Key Lolo. The color had to do something to do with veins in the blood. Though I said blur. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking. All right. So I put blur, but I meant blue. Okay. All right, so those are some good answers. Okay. Good answers.
Seriously.
We like, Family Feud. Good answer. Survey says. Survey says. All right. So you want me to take that rendering down?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take this rendering down. All right. So let's see. 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 All right. Okay, and it is officially in the chat. If you are on this chat, I'm telling you right now, you are nerdy AF. Okay, you are definitely a nerd. Okay, but I'm a nerd. But at least I'm a cute nerd. Yeah, like whatever. Okay, I tried. I tried. Okay, Cheryl. So, what does the blue and the red represent? Democrat, Republican.
Key logo.
I have blonde in my hair. What's your stupid power?
Um, blood from the left is usually the red, and once it's returning, the optical illusion is blue, but it's never.
It's never blue.
It's,
Okay, it's the optical
it's an
illusion.
optical illusion.
You
Usually,
hear it?
usually the level of oxygen.
All right.
But in order to but in that diagram, you can put it back up for just a second. But that is not two different veins. That's one. Okay. Because there is no going and then coming back, and because it's not this ever flowing tube. And what makes hair grow is an activation of neurotransmitters. Blood is to keep the subcutaneous fat layer and the other parts of the stratum, corneum, luciderm, granulosum, basal, spinosa. I don't know if I named them in order, but that's off the top of my head. But to keep
So this little thing here, I wanted to show you guys the red and the blue that she was talking about. So you can see it right here on this diagram, and you're saying that has nothing. You can't pump, so that blood ain't pumping to that papilla.
No, it's not what is carrying and making the activation of the cellular the cellular messages.
Communication. Okay.
Sure that the keratinocytes in the inner root sheet keep stacking, which is what the growing is, like a brick.
Right.
Okay. That's why we call it a chain. That's why we call it a peptide chain.
Y'all better get that. Hit that like button. Hold on, right quick, Cheryl. They in the chat. Our virtual co-host says it is time for you to tell everybody what they need to do right now to learn more about the follicle, the clogged follicle. And here's what you need to do right now, according to the one and only Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle. Hit it.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
All right, so there you go. This is good. She says if you're a nerd, you can hit that thumbs up button, that heart button right now. If you're watching this post alive and you love this content, please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Our goal is to reach 3K. We need 200 more subscribers, and we will have reached our 3K goal. So, Cheryl, you want to conclude about...
Take it down.
Yeah. I'll take it down. Yeah, take it down.
Pampa me on.
Yeah, I know. I think it's get Dosha off of that. That's okay. I'll tell y'all we're gonna have a whole TV show. Y'all just keep sticking around. Y'all laughing now, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, so I'm gonna take this down, and sure you're gonna keep rocking it out, so we can understand this whole the massaging and the cayenne pepper.
Is not proven to, because you don't activate hair growth from the outside.
Why do people think that? Even though they know y'all know hair growth. She just told y'all it's a hormonal communication thing here. Why do people insist that
something on the outside can stimulate hair growth?
It's that dial. Remember that dial? You could pull the hair, baby, don't be bald.
And let me just say that. And she did a Freudian slip when she said dead follicles and dormant hair.
Dormant.
Yeah, dormant. And so there is no dormant. There's phases. It's triphasal. And so there is just something that just does not fall out unless you have what we call a systemic or medication that goes into your system that will disrupt cellular production and will disrupt the triphasal phase. That is the only way drug interaction, which is a side effect, and or destruction of cellular, which is in a autoimmune response. That is why I want you guys to realize that when chemotherapy kills all cancer cells and all of the good ones are your hair cells. And because it's going in and killing all of the cell production, all of those messages do shut down and they
Okay.
evacuate. And so the hair doesn't stay dormant. The hair evacuates.
And I think she might be confusing that whole resting. You know how you have anagen, catagen, telogen, exogen. So I
Yeah.
think she might be conflating a little bit about the resting because remember, guys, it's an automatic.
Mhm.
It turns so that the new hair can come in. So it's not like it's waiting on your fingers to start pumping.
Yeah,
It's
because it's not blood conducive.
Yeah, because she said that massage to stimulate and then blood flow, and then you're gonna buy her cayenne pepper with caps. I don't know what was that
Then
lady?
and then the unfortunate thing is that the capsaicin she puts in oil.
So
When
so can
oil is not conducive. See, hair follicles do not have what you call an opening that something can slip down in. There's something in that particular duct. There's no way to get anything in terms of that because there's too much going on. There's a root in there. There is no room for something to get
and
caught.
can I just get my nerd on one more again? Remember, guys, we learned this in the sixth grade. No two objects can occupy the same space at the
Absolutely.
same time. So it's already something in there. She just told you in that growth process, the body is creating those peptide chains. That's why the hair looks like a scale because the body is creating that scale so that you can end up with this thing or fiber called hair strand. So
Mhm.
if you put something down in there, so that scientifically it
Mhm.
just won't jive. All right. So all my nerdy AFs, holla at your peoples out here. All right. So here is our next clip. All right. This one, now we're going to get into scalp buildup and clogged follicle because that's the topic tonight. Clogged follicle. So here you go. So this is about a little over a minute, guys. So rock it out with us. Just watch it good.
Here is 6 ways you can tell actually if you have scalp buildup or clogged follicles. So if you have a flaky or greasy scalp, if you have a greasy or oily feeling that doesn't go away even after you shampoo or cleanse your scalp, this could mean that there's excess sebum trapped with products or dirt. Another way you could tell if you have scalp buildup is itching or discomfort. All right. The third sign of scalp buildup or clogged follicles is going to be your hair looks or feels heavy. Another thing, slow hair growth. Okay. If you smell like a sour smell or a musty smell coming from your scalp, despite you cleansing your scalp, this can be a result of like trapped bacteria or buildup. Okay. And then another thing, acne or pimples on the scalp. So small bumps or pimples or inflammation are often signs of clogged follicles. Think about your skin. If you get pimples or bumps or inflammation on your face, it's usually something that is clogged in your pores. Okay, so it's going to be the same thing for your scalp. Those are things you need to check for.
Wow.
Now, let me just say it.
Wow.
When I say the dumbest, would y'all please just listen to Keith? Oh, the dumbest shit people say about, I don't care what color you is at this point. If somebody is telling you that your follicle is clogged because it's flaky, itchy, it's heavy, and it's slow, all hair is slow to grow. What the French toast and bologna sandwich is happening on planet Earth in America. And then musty odor, bacteria. Dude, all people have bacteria that causes odor. That's what it's called. Odor causing. Are y'all praying for me? Y'all
Okay,
know,
let's go by one so we can hash it out, and so we can come to a better understanding.
y'all better sprinkle some holy
Let
water
me just
on
say
me, man. Because
Let
I'm
me just
like,
say, let me say this. Nobody told them this. Nobody.
yes, somebody did. This is why we are having this episode. This whole year is dedicated to the natural hair movement. Somebody has been pushing. This ain't coming out of no hair salon. I don't care what y'all say. We
No,
ain't never
what
said
I'm
no
saying
stuff.
is they made it up because
Ooh, this chat on fire, Cheryl.
they believe they believe that because they're black that they can make some kind of experiential correlation maybe, and then they come up with these conclusions. No clinician, no one worth their salt with medical data and proof and facts. Science did not tell them that. They made it up. And that's fine. Because there lies the issue with Afro hair science, and that's one of the things why we created the podcast altogether, is to make sure that we can take people's videos and slice it one by one so people can understand just where they went wrong, and maybe it's a 10% wrong, 30% wrong, or 100% wrong, but we can at least put some credence to it. So let's take it one by one.
Okay, well, as you do it now, right quick. What's up, Sean? Now, y'all make sure y'all go check out the Mossy Warrior Clan because Sean be kicking the ballistics over there. So Trish the Natural, thank you so much, Trish. She says, well, the hair massage scalp stimulator hair growth belief is all over Google. Okay, duh, I didn't know that. So we got to
Well,
check.
the question is, let me ask you a question. You're
Oh,
alive.
and then one more, then last one, show before you answer that. She says also health line sites studies. She's not sure if they're credible, but that is out there, and perhaps, like she said, that's why so many folks, because it is everywhere. Okay, well,
and you know, and I understand, but the key is that you're walking, you're breathing, you're laughing, you're going to work. What made the blood circulation stop? You just have to ask yourself logical questions. Blood circulation is not stopping, and it's not slowing. Okay. And so that is the issue here. We have to just let's just have some logistical critical thinking, and then we can start applying what we really actually mean to say. Okay. And so one by one, go.
okay, so all right. Now what's up, Sir Posky? Sir Pooh have a little party. We got a little day party. We're gonna pump it up a little bit. Okay. So number one, she says, you know your clogs are follicle when you have flakes. That's number one. Hit it.
Flakes are not a secretion. Okay. It could be a response. It could be environmental. Okay. Because remember, skin is flaking, not the follicle.
Come on.
Follicle is follicle. Scalp skin is scalp skin. They're not the same thing. Skin belongs to the largest organ of skin. Follicles sit inside of what we call the epidermis portion. There's a bulb and sac sitting inside. The plant is the plant, and the soil is the soil. Two different things. And
All
so
right.
when the soil gets dis-ease or gets irritated, then you have to deal with that. And so one is not a causation of the other.
All right, that's number one. We doing good. Number two, itchy. Clogged follicles for clogged, then your scalp is going to itch. Take it away.
Okay.
The
And I
one
think
question is going to come up right after this. So put your question in the chat. We got 3 more to go through. So
Okay.
itching is because it's
Right.
your follicles are clogged.
itching is aching to skin, not the follicle. Once again, if your skin, told you that the vessels, nerves, glands, pores sit inside of the skin, have nothing to do with the follicle. So she conflated two things. Now, I believe she knows better, but she didn't say better because she doesn't have anybody to bounce this off of.
Well, she got about 10,000 likes on that as opposed to us.
And
She got 10,000 likes and we only got one. So if y'all could just help us, we could do something with that. Because to Trisha's point, 10,000 people like that kind of stuff. Okay.
and just admit, and it is a byproduct that you can say anything and anyone can say anything and anyone is a professional or a texture expert and they can say anything because they don't believe that there is a hierarchy of information and science and data when it comes to Afro textured hair. So they feel that no one's gonna check them, no one's gonna correct them, and no one's gonna call them on the carpet.
AKA Trump supporters. Number 3. Okay. Your hair feels heavy when you have clogged follicles. Like my hair is, this hair dirty, y'all. I'm talking about. I danced this got all kind of boots on the ground. It's got the other line dance, So I got all line dance hair jumping off on this head. So, but my follicles are clogged because your hair becomes heavy when your follicles are clogged.
Right. Once the hair shaft comes out of the mouth, okay, and a pore is just the small opening. That's just the pore. And every pore doesn't have a hair in it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, but when people talk about pores, it's just that little that is what we call a pore. The problem is that itch is nerves, which means that you feel something. And you can't feel your follicles. Okay? You can't feel them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can feel them, but the part that you're feeling is the pili muscle.
Y'all want none of that. Y'all want none of this nerve.
You don't feel the actual hair follicle. Making my point is that heavy hair is something that is already out of the follicle. So it doesn't really have, once again, I think she just said it because it sounds good.
It's called lookership. It's called, what's up, Tedder13 over on Instagram. We again welcome everybody. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. We appreciate you guys. We are officially 50 episodes in. Clogged follicles is the topic. Go ahead, Cheryl, take it away.
So let's just say this. So let's say I didn't get to use her logic and most people's logic and Google's logic. If I didn't get the dirt and hair and gook and oil and sebaceous gland material and all that bullshit out of the follicle, and I did clean the hair, and now the hair has nothing on it, now it's like, it can be still clogged according to the logic, and the hair can be clean, and the hair is no longer heavy. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
That theory does not make sense.
Yeah, because she thinks the oil is sliding down the hair. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, she says, your follicles are clogged when your hair is slow to grow. Now that right there, that's the dumbest shit. I know YouTube gonna flag the French toast out of this video. I'm sorry, YouTube people, but that's some dumb shit right there. Hair is slow to grow. And I said all hair is slow to grow. Cheryl,
so in other words,
can you make hair grow fast? I don't know.
Okay. Well, my point is that, well, then if that was the case, probably the product shelves would be empty. You guys wouldn't put shit on your hair if y'all knew that if you guys had a chance to do some buildup and you guys were going to stop growing, your hair was going to stop growing. The follicle was going on underneath the dermis, has nothing to do with what's going on outside. Okay. And I just told you There is nothing that you can put on the outside that is going to be so micro that it's going to seep inside the hair and it's going to go right in there. There is no such thing. Now, to prove my point, I want you guys to look up why does the sebaceous gland, what they call secretes. You got secretes. And secretions means something inside goes out. Now, I know what the next person would say. Well, how do you get a pimple, blackhead? Okay, but that again is at the first part of our conversation. Hypo or hyper. You have low production, high production. Low production, too much, not enough. Okay, and so not enough means I have dry skin, perfect, I have medium skin, and then the other person says, well, I have hyper and I have oily skin. And so you're trying to get the rate to balance out, and the body and skin, the immune system loves what we call homeostasis, balance. So you're not hyper or hypo. And that's where you get the clog, because the hyper sebaceous gland could be overstimulation. It could be inflammation. It could be some kind of disruption in adverse to medication. The key here is that usually clog means comodome. Comodome. A comodome means something is becoming backed up, but it's in the dermis. It's in the skin. It's not something that happens by too much product, too much oil, too much hairspray, too much gel, too much.
And it most certainly won't make your hair grow slow. Correct?
Because it has nothing to do with cell production. Right.
Mm-hmm. So now we're getting into, and we knew this was coming. So what about like she says her question is, even though her hair has grown a lot since her big chop in 2023, she still have areas at the crown that are growing slower. Are those follicles damaged? And then the question Sean has one as well is, well, how do you get the hair to grow? Okay.
Luana, you would have had those thin spots if you had not ever did the big chop. Those areas had existed already. Why? Because it's not a hair issue. More hair just covers up the fact that the scalp is not producing, but it is not a topical issue. That doesn't mean they're closed or they're dormant. At the end of the day, I would suggest, and I would not talk about it here, what I would recommend, but you have to understand scalp distribution of activated cell production. I guarantee you, in my conversation with you, the crown, like what Afro hair science teaches, the crown is the thinnest and driest and has the less subcutaneous tissue. Usually the follicles are thinner there. But at the end of the day, that's a whole nother conversation. And
so it's not that it's growing slower in the crown.
No, yeah. It's not a growing issue. It's a distribution of resources within that area of the scalp. Mm-hmm. And usually all balding. You've never seen a hair replacement surgeon take hair from a center of a person's head and put it in the back, because that's the less fattiest place. Right. That's where balding and thinning begins, because it has subcutaneous tissue.
Okay. So there you go. And then Sean's question is, so can you get the hair to grow back?
That's a good question. But let me just say this.
So I'm sorry. So how can bald people get their hair to grow back? Sorry about that, Sean.
Okay. All right. Well, Sean, I don't know if you are just a person who is experiencing some hair loss issues, natural balding, what they call genetic or hereditary base, or here's the issue. A good trichologist or a good cosmetic trichologist, barber or hairstylist, is not going to focus, sir, on how to get something back until they deal with causal. Because the cause is connected to the cure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fix something that did not cause it. So I'm not going to just deal with a bad scalp and talk about I'm going to have a bad scalp grow some fabulous, gorgeous hair. It don't work like that.
It don't work like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful scalp grows beautiful hair. And if we do have some issues at that, so the questions are not about, oh, well, then how do I grow it back? I have to get the scalp conducive to grow it back. And so we're going to focus on the causation of things and not just the fact that we want the end result, because then we won't be successful. And that any trichologist or any cosmetic trichologist or stylist or barber tells you that, then that is what we call Ponzi and scam.
Yeah, they're scamming you. They're scamming you. Okay, you guys are doing good. We're going to keep this moving. She says, right quick before we get to the next one, she says the hair is thick there, it's just shorter. And let me just answer this so we can just move on a little bit. Then it's probably rubbing out. Okay, you're probably not tying the hair down, braiding it down, keeping it lubricated, and it is just as soon as it grows, it's just probably snapping off. So that could be a hair styling issue if you have the follicle count, and you see that, then then the hair is just breaking off, and you're probably just letting it rub out. Okay, but we can talk about that in a consultation a little bit more, just in essence of time. Go ahead, Cheryl.
No, the scalp is different there because it's producing a different hair.
Mm-hmm. So the scalp, regardless,
different there.
Irregardless, the scalp at the top is different from the scalp on the side.
We're not making a differentiation between the other areas, but we do know that you have an issue that most women and men have. They want thick hair at the driest part.
Right. So there's the answer right there. I just said it's rubbing out. Stop covering that hair, girl. Leave that hair alone. You probably just more than likely it's just rubbing out. All right. Okay. So here's the last one. She says is because you covered the acne. If your scalp is clogged, I did bring some images. Let me just kind of get a little goosey, grotesque here. So the reason why, the last thing she said of why your follicles are clogged, okay, is because it stinks. So stinky hair is the representation of clogged follicles.
Clogged follicles don't exist. We already established that. Okay. Now, is there something superfluous on the surface? But it is usually pH issues that cause odor and color. And it is not indicative of clogged anything. Now, I just said it. Odor and discoloration is part of the examination of diagnosis in cosmetic trichology, in which I teach. A practitioner has to use their eyes and nose in dealing with skin. Pimples, bacteria, usually pimples or comedones, okay? Comedones or cysts. Once you lance them, usually there's an infection if there is an odor.
Okay.
All
right. So y'all better watch out on that one. Okay. Now, all right. Next one is how to determine if your follicles are alive. Cheryl, here we go.
Here's how you can find out if your follicles are still alive and kicking. Step number 1, you want to feel for texture changes. Run your fingers through the thinning areas of your scalp. And if your scalp feels completely smooth, no resistance, then it's possible your follicles are inactive. But if you feel soft, fuzzy baby hairs, it's possible they're still active. Step number 2, check for those vellus baby hairs. You need to be in good lighting because they can be really tiny and light in color, but this is a sign that your follicles are miniaturizing, but they're not dead. Step number 3, you want to pay attention to any sensations that you feel, warmth, tingling, itchiness, because this is a sign that blood is still flowing and circulating in the area, and this is a key factor in hair regrowth. But if you notice any numbness in the area, it's possible your follicles are inactive. So what do? If your follicles are still alive, you can still regrow hair. So if you are currently taking something and you want faster results, visit the alopeciadoctor.com or click the link in my bio so that I can.
Whoa. All right, they're at it again. This whole slow, fast thing. The vellus hair, if your scalp is tender, if it's burning, if you could touch your hair, you can feel it. And if it feels like, it's something, that was just, I don't know. Trish, you're right. Oh, thanks, Trish. I'm going to have to get on Google and see what they're saying. I don't really follow that too much. That was a lot, but let's just go with the
bring it down.
Let's go with how about we go with the sensation and essence of time? Because I gotta get to my brother. Okay, so what about sensation? That the tenderness, is that a sign that your follicles are clogged and your hair is not growing if it's tender to the touch? And I did Google just to see, like you said, Trish, clogged follicles, and this is what came up. So there it is, some tender to the touch, and then the hair is not growing. So that's a little picture there, Cheryl. So take it away. Is that a sign that your follicles are clogged? If you have a sensation and it's tender and it's burning, not only is it a sign that your follicles are clogged, but that your hair will not grow back or grow slower.
Okay, so what is an indication of hot, red, and tender?
Isn't that an indication it's hot and it's red and it's tender?
Now, what indication if you get the symptoms of red, hot, bumps, tender?
Oh, that's an infection. Thank you. I'm cheating. I looked on your paper, Trish. Tristan Natural says
no, it's inflammation.
Inflammation.
Which says injury. Now, it could be due to bacteria or an infection, but usually it is to what we call improper or too much tension, pulling, scratching, combing, brushing. Okay? And so that's a way of the immune, which is an autoimmune response. Now, it has nothing to do with too much dirt, liquid product, substance, fluid on the scalp. Has nothing to do with follicles. Follicles are in the scalp. They're away from the surface. Okay? And so bacteria is indicative of odor. Fungus is indicative of odor. Okay? However, there was a lot to unpack in what she said, and I'm not going to try to rush through that. Okay? Because we already have enough mis and disinformation. And so the best thing just to talk about the picture. Okay?
I'll go back to the picture right quick.
Well, no, I just wanted to be able to, pus is an injury response to inflammation, scratching, abrasion, okay? Could be ingrown hairs, but just a crop. And now you notice on that picture where the hair has not been quite infected. What is the difference in color? I just told you, good cosmetic trichologists look at color. Her healthy scalp is grayish. Her infected skin and irritated and inflamed is dark red. It's like a maroon color. And so we use color, right, to try to diagnose and probably to give a good assessment, okay? Because the follicles and the skin to the left there is starting to pus and getting ready to be, and she's had this a long time because of course the skin is starting to scar.
And this is not a picture of a clogged follicle, correct?
No, this is a causation.
Mm-hmm.
This is, see, you guys have to realize that when something swells and inflames, when something is inflamed, it swells, but it swells shut. It doesn't swell open. So when something swells, the hole gets smaller. And then once you release and take care of the autoimmune response, and then the swelling gets leaves, then the hole and follicle mouth returns to the natural size. But you have to make sure that you address it quickly, because long prevalence of inflammation, the tissue begins to die. Not the hair follicle dies. The tissue begins to degenerate and then make the follicle less resources in the follicle in and of itself at that point.
All right. So we have another question about this picture. So Trish the Natural asks, she said, so the clog is not clogged, but closed.
There is no such thing as closed if there's a hair in it. Okay. All pores or all follicles don't necessarily have hairs in it. But if there's hair there, the swelling happens in the dermis and in the epidermis. And then the itching and feeling and sensation happens in the epidermis. That's why you start scratching it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the affected area to her right has long prevalent of inflamed an inflamed dermis. Okay, then it has rose to the top, and that's when you start seeing the white pustule. You can't see a pustule below the surface of the skin unless you feel a knot or a cyst.
All right.
Once
I think what's confusing, Cheryl, to the people is that you were just so powerful in your statement that the skin is, the follicle is inside the skin. I think people are struggling with understanding that the skin is an organ and the follicle is an organ, and the follicle is an organ that sits in. So what you're looking at is skin responding to, maybe this was pulled, I don't know, maybe.
Right. And the follicle is a casualty of the condition of the skin, not vice versa.
Say that one more again. The
follicle is a casualty. It just happens to be in the skin. And so if the skin is having a issue or degenerative issues, and it is not healthy, it is becoming inactive. The skin itself is not, the soil is starting to become diseased. It will then stay prevalent. And then when you start noticing the grass looking brown, then you want to say, oops, the grass. No, it was actually the soil all along.
So she said, so the follicle is swollen, not clogged from inflammation.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And it can stay prevalent so much to the point where the hair begins to feel wiry and dry, because that follicle mouth is called, Mr. Morrow called it the scrunch theory. I think he did the scrunch theory about 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. But the scrunch theory is that the follicle in and of itself becomes diseased because of the scalp itself in that particular area becomes diseased.
Outstanding, Trish, you get an A+ on that. All right, guys, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, because we're going deep, no pun intended, as we talk about this whole clogged follicle. Now, I'm just going to take this down. Cheryl, you are just absolutely dynamic. I know I've learned something. I don't know about you guys. If you did, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button. And like she said, this is stuff you just can't kind of rush through. We skimmed past the young lady's comment because she says it's so deep, but she wanted to go back to that picture so you guys can understand exactly what's happening here. So now this is the last one, and this one is about a solution, and she's talking about microneedling, blood flow, and growth. So here's our last clip. Here we go, guys.
One way I like to wake up those follicles and get everything going once we start our hair restoration journey is through microneedling and using my Growth Factors Pro. So Microneedling is a device that has small, tiny needles in it. It's not that painful and it doesn't go that deep. There's no bleeding, but the blood rushes to the surface. And when you apply your growth factors, it lets it get into exactly where we need it to go to get things rolling, alive, shaking and moving as we try to get this hair coming back through the follicles.
I ain't gonna disrespect her because she got that nice jacket on. And y'all already said y'all for the jackets. So I'm just gonna break down what the lady said. She says she's gonna do microneedling. Because it can restore. It's a hair restoration option. Microneedling is a hair restoration option. She has a product called Growth Factor. And when you use this little microneedling, it is going to rush the blood to the surface. And then she's going to apply this growth factor, and it's going to go exactly where it needs to go, which I don't know where that is.
Well, she didn't say it. And so if she didn't say it, she didn't know it. And let me just say this. I am known in circles. I am a teacher's teacher. I do not go light. If you're gonna come in the class with a white jacket, your ass better be ready, because you are saying that you are holding yourself to a different standard. And so if you hold yourself to a different standard, and if she did not say where that growth factor was going to be allocated, that means that she didn't care. And she didn't care if she told you. And so
she said it's gonna go exactly where it knows where it needs to go. That's what I think. That's where she was.
There you lies, and see, that's lazy language, and her peers should not allow her to get away with lazy language. The customer the customer is expecting you to know where it's going. Microneedling is good for collagen and fascia. That is usually what we use.
What's fascia? Like a bologna sandwich or something?
Fascia is that you see some of the dips inside of the cross section of the skin, and that is usually akin to what we call cellulite.
Well, let me put my booty on the screen. Shoot, because Lord, no.
Or fascias that have dips in them, dimples or dips. And the micro kneading and the micro brushing and the movement of the surface has nothing to do with hair follicles, because
how is it getting? So how are they able to pull this off? Are they trying to say that, the benefits of like what people get done to their skin can also improve the follicle? Is that what they're thinking?
They are still locked in marriage and engaged to blood being the source of the androgenic phase within the hair follicle. That they're still stuck to that. I am telling you that the blood tissue keeps the hair tissue in the dermis and the lipids in the fat subcutaneous in the fat level keeps the tissue healthy. So the hair follicle that lives inside of it has the resources and can function properly. It does not have anything to do with the neurotransmitter of health, because at the end of the day, right, if I took chemotherapy and wiped all my cell tissue out, doesn't give a shit about my circulation, does it?
So is this like snake oil? I mean, she said, let me play it again. Let me just one more again, because she looking real smart too, by the way. Let me play it just one more again. One more time, y'all.
One way I like to wake up those follicles and get everything going once we start our hair restoration journey is through microneedling and using my Growth Factors Pro. So microneedling is a device that has small, tiny needles in it. It's not that painful and it doesn't go that deep. There's no bleeding, but the blood rushes to the surface. And when you apply your growth factors, it lets it get into exactly where we need it to go to get things rolling, alive, shaking, and moving as we try to get this hair coming back through the follicles.
And see, and she knows that nothing comes through the follicle. She knows that. She's just using and see, and one of the things, guys,
She's
in
so
always
pretty. She got her nails all manicured. She looks so credible, though.
she knows the language she's using. She has no language for the what and get things going. She knows that that is not proper language. She knows that things where it needs to be and things where it needs to go. She knows that's not proper language. She knows getting things rolling is not proper language. She
Look
knows
at
through the hair follicle. She knows this, and I'm just letting you know that no one's going to correct her. Because of course black people cannot be self-policed. We think that if I call you and check you on it that I'm being mean, instead of understanding that I need you guys and natural practitioners and barbers and stylists and cosmetic trichologists and trichologists. I just need you to be better. So we
Well,
can.
Trish says, "Child, ain't no telling what's in that little bottle." Oh my goodness! Hold on, wait a minute.
And growth
Wait.
factors. It could be moxonil. It could be anything.
Here
Steroid.
go.
Anything.
Here go. This is what Trish got to say about that little bottle. Hold on. Here you go, Here you go, Trish.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Trish said, "Ain't no telling what's in that." It's called growth factor. She kind of started off like, we're gonna wake this up. And it's called a hair restoration journey. I mean, this is just amazing. Well, I tell you,
and it's egregious to professionals like you and me. That's why we're on the podcast, because and it's not that we're angry with them. It's not that we don't like them. It's not anything like that. It's that we have to, in this generation, stop us so we can make sure that our babies and our wonderful young people and all y'all's nieces and nephews, that they have a great foundational education so we can start turning this industry around and becoming vanguards of it.
Don't let that white coat fool y'all. I tried to tell y'all we need to get rid of that, but y'all told me to shut up. So I'm gonna say it to the day that I die. Okay, y'all. I said get rid of them white coats. But let me just play that clip from we go because him and Dr. Naeem Akbar, we got to keep those clips on deck. You know what I'm saying, Cheryl?
Yes.
Because we are told caution to not be so critical, and we have to watch what we say to people because culturally we shouldn't do anything. We shouldn't be like that. And when you start to critique that, you're being offensive. So Dr. Amos Wilson, may he rest in peace. He's no longer with us, but this is what he had to say about critiquing and all that other good stuff, and giving folks the facts and culture. By the way, here we go. Should African Americans be critical of each other?
What were the problems represented by African cultures such that we permitted ourselves to be overrun by Europeans and we find ourselves in the situation that we find ourselves tonight? Understand? It's no insult for us to ask that question of ourselves. And it's no insult for us to look critically at African history and culture and to be critical of it. It is only through our being critical of our history and our culture that we can advance our interests as a people and survive as a people.
Why hasn't the culture of the natural hair community solved the problems with natural hair?
This is the thing we have to keep in mind. You don't have a culture just to have a culture. And you don't claim a culture just because it's a culture or just because it's African. The ultimate thing that culture must do is solve problems.
All right. He says that the reason why we should be critical at the end of the day is that it's to help advance. And that is what you are doing, Cheryl. So this is why we appreciate it. And I want you to elaborate on that a little bit more. And then secondly, he said culture is to solve a problem. And the reason why we're dedicating 2025 on the natural hair movement 25 years later is because we are definitely trying to advance, and then culturally, we are trying to solve a problem. And this mis and disinformation is very prevalent and is costing people money, but more importantly, it's actually costing people uh, time. I think the hair is going to be there regardless. I don't care what they tell you. If it's on your head, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But anywho, Cheryl, as we wrap this up, talk a little bit more because we have a whole year of critiquing with the intent to advance, and culturally, we do need to solve this problem here, and we appreciate you all support. So, can you help us with how you feel comfortable with critiquing and using that culture to help solve some of these problems that so many people are experiencing with their quote unquote natural hair, especially when it comes to time and money and just emotional, that emotional stuff.
Angela, Maya Angelou would say, you did what you knew to do, but when you know better, you do better. I am here, and Ladosha is here to assist you into knowing better, not because we just have this ego trip to want to tell you that you're wrong. Because one of the things that I do know, that if you feel wrong, you will not make changes. And so for the best way to do that for consumers is to gently and lightly be able to inform them. But more importantly, if I know something that could solve a problem, like Dr. Amos Wilson has said, my job is to get us professionals and to hold us to a higher standard more than consumers. And so my job is not to make them feel wrong, but it is to invoke a little firmness into so they can realize their responsibility. And that's why any professional that gets money, that takes people's money, and you are a professional and a natural hair provider and barber and stylist and whatever, you have a sense of responsibility. So I'm going to teach you that is commiserate. I'm going to teach you in a way and expose you in a way that is commiserate with your responsibility. And I cannot do that, and Ladosha cannot do that in a way that professionals, iron sharpens iron, as they would say. And so we're not trying to be, we're trying to be responsible and accountable.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Speaking of responsible and accountable, because y'all know that's my way to inspire. That's a little friendly reminder, a little humble brag. This Friday, March the 28th, I am going to be a host. I mean, amongst these three lovely ladies here, and we're being recognized as women who inspire. And this is by Cleveland's Dress for Success. They do have tickets on sale, and this is here in Cleveland, Ohio. So if you want to have breakfast with me, no, they don't have grits and eggs and stuff. But anywho, so if you want to go have some fancy breakfast with me as we celebrate how we inspire people, feel free to check me out here on Facebook, or you can go to Dress for Success. And so I thank them so much for honoring or recognizing me. Rather, that's a better word, recognize. So that's a little humble brag. And then let's not forget the last Sunday of the month, if you are in the greater Cleveland area, we have our second Fête du Jour, and this is going to be held at Urban Cuts Barbershop over on Lorraine. And also, if you are in another city and you want to rock this out, remember we have the template, and for the free, we will hook this flyer up, and you can host your own Fête du Jour, which is French for day party. Okay. Now, Trish, we love your answer. Cheryl said that part. We are going to be back next week because we see that you all really will want some help in this area. But the question is, if everybody is like, they're not everybody, but there's so much, mis and disinformation and selling of all of these oils and serums and what does she call that? Factors, growth factors. Who can they trust? Who can they go to? Can they boil? Can they make rosemary oil? I don't know. So we're going to actually offer you guys some solutions. We spent an entire month giving you guys some in-depth discussion and understanding about the scalp. Please go back and watch all of the podcasts. We're getting a lot of reviews on this series, by the way. So continue to hit the thumbs up, continue to share. And Cheryl, just close us out with that one statement again about that critiquing, and then I think that's going to be it, because I just,
Mm-hmm. I do believe that it's a long time coming, and I know you are, Kilo. I'm appreciative of you trusting us just to listen and maybe provoke you to double check what we are saying, because that is habitual. Now, if you double check me or you double check Ladosha, then we will be able to make sure that we finite and make you better researchers.
Right.
If that's the least of it.
The chat is a discourse here, and it's a place to come and feel comfortable to come and learn, because it's not many platforms with cosmetologists and barbers, in the chat together, because culture, remember, that's what Dr. Amos says. We have to solve our own problems. And so by you guys partnering with us, by showing up and sharing, you're also supporting Real Roots. I see you, Yate. Remember, she has her podcast here, on YouTube. So when you support these channels, culturally, we are able to solve the problem, right? And then the critiquing is not a one way. We're not just here. I get critiqued all the time. I trust me, I do. I get it all the time.
Yes, we should.
Yeah. So in spite of fancy recognitions and things of that nature, but we have to, make ourselves available so that we can be approached to be corrected. So again, we're not here to kind of bash on the people, but you have to admit the dumbest shit that people have said about Black hair is clogged follicles. That's just some dumb shit, okay? So we appreciate you guys, and you know what we say when we're signing out, right? We're always talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and a whole lot of hair. But check it out. Remember now, if you ain't got none, can't grow none, you can't stand it, you got some bald patches, we say don't worry about that, because all of that is beautiful too, and so are you. And I thank you so much for the prayers for my brother. So I'm going to go over and sit with him tonight and make sure I eat up all his cereal. Don't y'all text my brother and say, I'm eat up all his cereal because he's a little sick. So I'm eating this cereal while you sick, okay? So I'm gonna eat up his cereal, watch all his cable, leave all the lights on. You know what sisters do. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna irritate him. You're like, turn the TV down. I can't hear. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Cheryl, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make Black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
I think it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed her. Dang! It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips.